Hi everyone, let's talk about the economy in Turkey and the problem is faced with inflation and unemployment. In 2022 and 2023, price in Turkey went up a lot. Inflation reached 60 to 75%. This happened because of weak money policy, the fall of the Turkish lira, and expensive imports. People had to spend more on daily needs. By mid-2025, inflation dropped to around 35% to 40%. This happened after the government raised interest rate to almost 50% to help the lira and lower price. But life in is still hard. Costs for education and housing keep going up. Many people feel the pressure and the cost of living is still high. The central bank hopes inflation will go down to 24% by the end of 2025, but others think it may stay near 30%. Unemployment is also a big problem. The official rate is around 8.5% to 9%, and Eurostat say it's 7.9%. But if we count people who give up looking for jobs, the real number could be as high as 28%, according to the World Bank. So, even though inflation is getting better, jobs are still hard to find, and many people are struggling. That's all from me. My friend will continue it. Thank you.
Hello guys, today I will be discussing the topic of inflation in Turkey, focusing on its economic theories, causes, effect, and the strategy proposed to overcome it. Let's begin with the inflation theory. Inflation in Turkey can be understood through a basic economic theories. According to the monetarist theory, inflation occurs when too much money in circulating in the economy, which pushes prices upward. In the case of Turkey, the central bank increased the money supply and maintained low interest rate for a prolonged period. Unfortunately, this worsened inflation. From a Keynesian perspective, inflation can also result when aggregate demand outpaces the economy ability to produce goods and services. This often happens when consumer spending is too high and supply cannot keep up with demand. Next, we'll explore the type of inflation affecting Turkey. Turkey has primarily experienced what is known as a demand pull inflation. This happens when aggregate demand exceeds the productive capacity of the economy in Turkey. This is often driven by fiscal stimulus measures or easy access to credit, which leads to a rise in consumer spending and fuels inflation. Now, let's consider the effects of inflation in Turkey. One significant impact has been interest rate volatility. Over recent years, Turkey has seen policy interest rates swing dramatically from very low levels to over 50% in 2024. At the same time, the depreciation of Turkish lira has made import goods more expensive, worsening inflation even further. So, what can be done? Here are some strategies to overcome inflation. Through fiscal policy measures, the government can play a vital role. For example, like reducing a government spending, particularly in non-essential areas, can help decrease aggregate demand and ease inflationary pressure. Also, increasing tax on non-essential goods is another tool. This approach lower disposable income and encourage excessive consumer spending, helping to bring inflation under control. In conclusion, inflation in Turkey is a complex issue rooted in both monetary and fiscal dynamics. Understanding its causes through economic theory allows us to identify target strategies to manage and reduce its impact on the economy. Thank you for your attention. That's all from my part.
Inflation. Turkey inflation has been easing but remains very high by global standard. As for May 2025, the annual consumer price index CPI Inflation slowed to 35.4%, down from 37.9% in April, marking the lowest level since late 2021 and continuing a trend of gradual decline over the past 11 months. This moderation is largely due to the impact of strict monetary policy, with the central bank maintaining interest rate near 50% alongside effort to stabilize the Turkish lira through heavy foreign exchange intervention. Price increases have slowed across most categories, including food, housing, and restaurant. Through transport, costs have edged up slightly. Despite this improvement, inflation is still severely eroding purchasing power, reflecting years of unorthodox policies under President Erdogan that previously keep interest rate too low, fueling a switch in price and a sharp depreciation of the lira. Political uncertainty and pressure on foreign reserve add further challenge. Looking ahead, the central bank forecasts inflation to fall to around 24% by the end of 2025, but risks remain due to fragile investor confidence, high borrowing costs, straining business, and the potential for foreign currency volatility. In short, while Turkey inflation is on a downward path thanks to tighter policy, it remains far above normal level and continues to weigh heavily on household and the broader economy. That's all.
Unemployment in Turkey is caused by several factors. Clinical unemployment happens during economic slowdowns, and structural unemployment comes from a mismatch of skills, and fractional unemployment occurs when people are between jobs. There is also underemployment where people work fewer hours or stop looking for jobs. As of April 2025, the unemployment rate is 8.6%, the highest since November 2024. This is due to high interest rates and slow economic growth, causing jobs losses, poverty, and financial problems, especially for youth and women. To solve this, Turkey can use short-term solutions like lowering interest rates and creating government jobs. For the long term, they should focus on skills training, support for small business, and help for women and youth through flexible jobs, childcare, and entrepreneurship. Structural reforms are also needed to attract investment and growth business and support business growth.
Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to today's update on the unemployment situation in Turkey as of April 2025. We'll take a quick look at recent trends, how the job market is performing overall, and some deeper insights into the broader labor force condition. To start, the unemployment official rate in Turkey goes to 8.6% in April, up from 8% in March. This increase may seem small, but it's actually the highest level recorded in the past 5 months. It signals a slowdown in hiring and possibly seasonal shifts in employment patterns, especially in key sectors like tourism, manufacturing, or retail. Now, if we take a broader view over the last few months, the quarterly average unemployment rate for Q1 2025 was 8.2%. That's actually a slight improvement from Q4 of 2024, which was at 8.6. But this drop doesn't necessarily mean more people found jobs. In fact, it mostly reflects a decline in labor force participation, meaning fewer people were actively looking for work. This often happens when people get discouraged and stop seeking employment altogether. And that brings us to a more serious concern: labor market underutilization. While the headline unemployment rate tells us one thing, it doesn't capture the full picture. In April, broader labor underutilization, which includes people who are underemployed or have stopped looking for work was estimated at 19.3%, and some of analyses even as high as 24.2%. This shows that a significant portion of the workforce is still not being fully or effectively used, and that the real situation may be more severe than the numbers suggest. So in conclusion, while Turkey's unemployment rate has improved from its pandemic heights, the latest figures remind us that challenges remain, especially for discouraged workers and youth. For a stronger labour market, deeper reforms and active job will be essential. Thank you.
Okay, now I want to talk about this infographic title, which is Closing Doors, Turkey's Economic Reality. Let's start with the big picture. The economy isn't just about numbers, it's about food price, jobs, opportunities, and the future of the people. When an economy is weak, it affects daily life, and that's exactly what's happening in Turkey right now. One major issue is inflation. Inflation in Turkey has made life more expensive. The price of basic goods like food and everyday needs have increased, and this reduces people's spending power. So many people find it difficult to buy what they need. In the red box, we can see that Turkey has faced serious economic challenges in recent years. This includes high inflation, a weak currency, and rising unemployment. Many young people are affected. They struggle to find stable jobs and financial security. Speaking of jobs, unemployment in Turkey is now one of the country's biggest problems. Many young people have finished their education, but they can't find proper work. This is especially true after the economic crisis and instability in the country. So, what can be done? If we look at the green section here, it shows that government action is very important. Things like controlling interest rates, helping small business, and creating job opportunities can really help improve the economy. And lastly, here's the key takeaway, which is with good policies, smart planning, and public awareness, Turkey can still move forward. The country has potential, but it needs the right steps and strong leadership to create a better and more stable future.